When Blair expected to welcome her first child with her husband by her side, a surprising turn of events at the hospital challenged their bond. Can a lesson in priorities reshape their future, or has the damage already been done? Hey everyone. I never thought I'd be sharing something this personal here, but I guess I just need to get it off my chest and maybe laugh, or cry, about it with someone who isn't directly involved. Blair and I've just had the craziest weekend of my life. So, last weekend was supposed to be a big one for us. My husband, Liam, and I were about to welcome our first child into the world. I was scheduled for a cesarean because our little bun was all settled in and comfy, and was not planning to come out the regular way. Liam had just started his 2-month parental leave the day before, which was perfect timing. We had planned this peaceful, nesting day at home. Our to-do list was charmingly mundane: double-check the baby's clothes, prepare the overnight bags for the hospital, and maybe binge-watch a show or two as we enjoyed our last moments of it being just the two of us. That morning, Liam was buzzing around the house, making sure we had everything in order. He seemed a bit more wired than usual, but hey, becoming a dad for the first time will do that to you, right? Little did I know that his nerves had plans that didn't exactly include organizing baby socks with me. Anyway, there we were, the big day had finally arrived. I was a bundle of nerves and excitement, ready to meet our little one after what felt like an eternity. Liam drove us to the hospital, his hands gripping the steering wheel a bit tighter than usual. You could cut the tension with a knife, but there was also this underlying excitement, or at least that's what I thought. We got to the hospital, and I started checking in at the reception while Liam handled our bags. Everything seemed normal until it wasn't. As I was talking to the nurse about the procedure, Liam leaned in and said, "Okay, I'll meet my friend Jake in the pub and be back when you're done." I turned to him, absolutely bewildered, and blurted out, "What? You're supposed to go with me?" He just shrugged and replied, "There's not much I can do there anyway," and with that, he walked out. Just like that. No reassurance, no supportive squeeze of my hand, nothing. He just left. I stood there, a mix of hurt, anger, and utter disbelief washing over me. How could he think it was okay to just bail at a moment like this? I felt betrayed and beyond pissed at his utter callousness. Here I was, about to go through one of the most physically intense and emotionally significant moments of my life, and he chose that moment to meet a friend for a drink. So much for being a supportive husband, huh? But I wasn't about to let Liam's lack of presence ruin this monumental day. Frantically, I dialed my sister Jenny, who was supposed to come later. Thank goodness for sisters, right? Jenny rushed over in record time, ready to be my rock. And together, we hatched a plan. As the labor progressed, Jenny became my photographer and videographer, documenting every pivotal moment. From the gripping pain to the indescribable strength it took, and finally, to the first cries of our newborn, she captured it all. Every raw and beautiful moment of this journey was recorded, a bittersweet symphony of what was supposed to be a shared experience. Once Jenny had started capturing everything, I took a moment to speak with the nurses. I told them under no circumstances was Liam to know anything about the birth until I said so. They nodded, understanding the situation more than I expected, and agreed to keep information from him when he showed up. True to form, hours later, Liam staggered into the hospital, a sheepish look plastered across his face. He walked up to the nurse's station, expecting to be greeted with updates and maybe even congratulated. Instead, he met with nothing but cold professionalism. "I'm here for Blair," he said, trying to peek around the station. The nurse simply looked at him and replied, "We have strict instructions not to disclose any details at this time. Please, wait in the lobby." Confusion and panic started to flicker across his face as he was ushered away. He tried calling me, probably to apologize or explain, but I had already set my phone to send his call straight to voicemail. Liam was left to sit in the cold, impersonal waiting area, left alone with his thoughts and the growing realization of what he had missed. Hours dragged on, and when Jenny finally approached him, his face was a mixture of anxiety and sorrow. She didn't say a word at first, she just handed him her phone. On it played a video montage she had put together, the harsh, gripping reality of labor, my overwhelming strength during those intense moments, and our baby's first cries, clear and heartbreakingly beautiful. All of it, every moment that he should have been there for. Watching the video, Liam's face crumbled. The weight of his choices hit him all at once. He had missed one of the most monumental moments of our lives. He was supposed to be there, supporting me, holding my hand, and welcoming our child into the world together. Instead, he was out drinking, oblivious to the struggle and the triumph happening without him. Liam sat there in the sterile hospital waiting room, his eyes glued to the small screen, watching the birth of his child, every painful contraction, every moment of strength I mustered, and that magical first cry. The video ended, and he looked up, his eyes searching, maybe for absolution, maybe for a way to turn back time. Just then, I came through the swinging doors, our newborn cradled gently in my arms, wrapped snugly in a soft pink blanket. I was tired, the kind of deep, bone-weary exhaustion that comes from bringing a new life into the world. But there was a calm, almost serene expression on my face. I walked up to him slowly, the distance feeling like miles. Standing before him, I could see his eyes, red-rimmed and filled with tears, shifting between me and our baby. Taking a deep breath, I began, "Liam, this was a moment, a precious, irreplaceable moment that you chose to miss for a trivial night out. You need to decide what your priorities are, because our child and I deserve someone who will be there when it truly matters." Liam's face crumpled even more, if that was possible. He stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the linoleum, and took a step closer. He reached out, hesitating for a second before placing his hand gently on our baby's head. "I am so sorry, Blair. I don't know what I was thinking. I've missed something I can never get back, and I swear, on everything I have, that I will never take you or our family for granted again." His voice broke, laden with regret and a newfound understanding of the magnitude of his mistake. His apology was heartfelt, and in his eyes, I saw the stark realization of his neglect. It wasn't just words, it was a vow, a desperate pledge to do better, to be the man he had promised to be when we first found out we were going to be parents. "I want to be there for every moment, every milestone. I want to be the father and husband you both deserve," he continued, his voice steadying as he spoke. It was a promise, one I hoped he would keep, but only time would tell. In that hospital room, a new chapter of our lives began, not just with the birth of our beautiful baby girl, but with the rebirth of a promise between two people who had just become three. The lesson was harsh but necessary, and in the tender quiet of the hospital ward, with the soft coo of our newborn filling the space between us, we started to mend the tear that had almost split our family apart. As we left the hospital, stepping out into the crisp morning air, Liam held the car door open for me and then carefully secured the baby's car seat. There was a carefulness in his actions, a deliberate presence that hadn't been there before. Perhaps this was the start of the man he vowed to become. As we drove home, the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow over the road ahead. It felt like a new beginning, and in many ways, it was. There you have it, my tale of how an unbelievable day turned into a pivotal lesson in priorities. I wonder if I was too harsh, or if it was just the wake-up call Liam needed. What do you think? I'd love to hear what you might have done in my shoes. My husband sent his friends an old photo of me and complained about my appearance changing. My husband Jake and I have been together for almost 20 years, married for 15. Life with Jake has always been a whirlwind of love, laughter, and the little messes that come with raising kids and juggling careers. Over the past 20 years, we've built a life that, while not always perfect, felt pretty close to it. I'm a social media manager, a job that keeps me busy but thankfully at home most days, giving me time with our kids and on my passions, hunting for book bargains, updating our living space, and occasionally indulging in a little online shopping spree. But let me take you back to a couple of weeks ago, a mundane Tuesday that should have ended with a quiet evening but instead turned my world slightly sideways. My name is Samantha and this is the story of how stumbling upon an old photo proved to be an eye-opener. I was using a free hour to tackle some spring cleaning in Jake's home office. He splits his work week between this space and his downtown office. As I was dusting his desk, I noticed his computer screen was still on. There, amidst the tabs of spreadsheets and finance reports, was a photo that yanked me straight back to the sun-soaked sands of the Maldives. It was me, in my 20s, wearing a swimsuit, living out what was one of our first adventures together. A smile crept up on my face as I thought, "Aw, Jake still keeps that photo close. Has so sweet and loving." But as I leaned closer, that warm fuzzy feeling disintegrated. The photo was part of a group chat with his buddies. It wasn't just any chat, but one where Jack had typed something that knocked the air right out of me. Below the photo, the message read, "Look at this hot chick. I wish she never let herself go. Where are these curves? Where's this face without a second chin? Gosh, I miss this Samantha, who was sexy and appealing." I stood there, frozen, the dusting cloth slipping from my hand. After 3 kids and countless shared experiences, sure, I didn't have the same body as my 20-something self. But Jack had never, ever made me feel anything less than loved for who I was, until now. The sting of his words echoed in my mind. How could he say that? And to his friends, no less. It wasn't just the shock of his words but the realization that he had never shared these feelings with me directly. We were supposed to be partners, weren't we? Partners communicate, or at least, I thought we did. I admit, looking in the mirror these days is different. I see the marks of time, of motherhood, of life's stresses and joys. But I thought Jake saw them as badges of the life we'd built together. As I stood there, a blend of anger, sadness, and disbelief washing over me, I realized this might just be the first real test of what our vows meant, in all the messy, unspoken parts of marriage. Following the gut-wrenching discovery on Jake's computer, I was swirling in a tempest of hurt and anger, but beneath that stormy surface, a plan began to crystallize, one that would not only confront the issue but hopefully heal it too. As Jake's birthday approached, I saw an opportunity to turn the celebration into something more introspective. The party theme, "This is your life," seemed perfectly ironic given the circumstances. In the weeks leading up to the event, I immersed myself in the archives of our lives together. I pulled out photo albums, scrolled through digital galleries, and collected videos that spanned the 2 decades of our relationship. It included everything from our awkward first date, when Jake had more hair and I had fewer lifelines, to our hectic yet heartwarming life with 3 kids. My stepson disrespects my kids and makes mess in our home, while husband stays silent. I taught him some manners. My son came home with a gift from our neighbor. When I saw what was in the box, I decided to move out. I've been saving money for my dream car for years. What my husband did when I had the exact amount made me go pale. I included everything: our sunlit wedding, each of our children's births, holidays, but also those raw nights with sick kids and tired souls, the daily grind of balancing jobs and family life, and the countless little sacrifices that often went unnoticed but were the glue of our daily existence. On the day of Jake's party, our living room transformed into a gallery of memories, filled with close friends and family, the very same audience he had shared that fateful message with. As everyone settled in, I started the slideshow. Each slide was a chapter of our story, and with each image, I narrated the significance behind it. I shared anecdotes about what was happening beyond the frame, the challenges, the laughter, and the tears. Jake's discomfort was palpable, especially as images flickered past showing both of us in less flattering but deeply real moments, me, exhausted on the sofa surrounded by laundry and toys, and him, unkempt and weary, yet right beside me through every flu season and financial worry. As the last slide dimmed, the room fell into a hushed expectancy. I took a deep breath, feeling every eye upon me, and turned to face Jake. My voice steady but laden with emotion, I addressed the room. "We've all changed over the years," I began. "Our bodies, our priorities, and our challenges. But what shouldn't change is our respect and love for each other, no matter what." Jake's eyes met mine, and in them, I saw a flicker of realization. He stood, and in a voice tinged with remorse, he spoke. "You're right, Sam," he said. "I've been an idiot. Focusing on the wrong things and joking with friends when I should have been celebrating the incredible woman who makes my life complete." His apology was sincere, and he continued to acknowledge his faults and express his renewed commitment to our family. "I'm sorry for the hurtful words and for losing sight of what truly matters. Thank you for reminding me of the beauty in our real life, not just some faded photo from our past." The room, initially thick with tension, slowly thawed as Jake's friends chuckled awkwardly, perhaps recognizing their own imperfections. His heartfelt words didn't just mend the rift between us, they sparked conversations among our friends about love, aging, and the essence of companionship. That night, as the guests drifted away and the last of the wine glasses were cleared, Jake and I sat down together, a little weary but much closer. We talked until the early hours, reconnecting and reaffirming our journey together. It wasn't just a resolution of a conflict but a reaffirmation of our commitment to each other, deepened by understanding and respect. Now, turning to you, dear readers, I ponder, did I handle it right by using my husband's birthday as a lesson in love and respect? What would you have done in my place? This work is inspired by real events and people, but it has been fictionalized for creative purposes. Names, characters, and details have been changed to protect privacy and enhance the narrative. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental and not intended by the author. The author and publisher make no claims to the accuracy of events or the portrayal of characters and are not liable for any misinterpretation. This story is provided as is, and any opinions expressed are those of the characters and do not reflect the views of the author or publisher.